So I want to do a quick video on the new lab, if you can call it that, that I'm setting up. It's a work in progress. I've got the two scopes that I restored. I'll have to do a video on this. I haven't done one yet. Got this for about 30 bucks used. It's actually working in pretty good condition. I tested it against some other multimeters, and it's still in calibration, you know, within reason. It's a BK Precision DMM 2831A. It's a decent little older digital multimeter. Good for the price. It's got up to 20 amp rating. Got your 2 amps maximum on the milliamps, and then 20 amps on the high amp jack there, up to 1,000 volts AC, 12,000 or 1,200 DC. So it's a pretty decent multimeter for what I got it for. I'm going through the process of organizing spare parts and stuff. Still a work in progress, but you'll notice one key piece of equipment missing from here is a power supply. I haven't been able to get a hold of one of those yet, as I am on a pretty strict budget for these kind of things. So I've got this old small power supply that I got from a friend of mine who gave it to me when he moved away. It was a kit that he put together as a kid. It's actually a decent little piece of equipment. It's I had to etch in some common voltages on here because it's not. It's obviously a very low market, lower end, just hobby kit type thing, and it doesn't display what voltage it's putting out. So I kind of had to scratch that in there, but this is pretty good for testing components and testing LEDs and various little low current projects and stuff. It can only handle up to, I guess, probably about 700 milliamps or so. So it's pretty low power. So I definitely need to upgrade. I need to move up from that. So I actually got a hold of this today for about 20 bucks from an electronics discount, used electronics supplier, which is actually where I got all of this stuff, really. Fantastic place. If you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, you should definitely stop by and take a look if you're interested. It's electronics discount on Pioneer Parkway in Arlington. This is a CCTV, basically a security camera power supply made by Ultronics. It draws 1.5 amps on 115 volts, and its rated output is between 6 and 15 volts at 6 amps max. So definitely some decent current handling with this. I took a look at mainly what I'm interested in, obviously, is the actual power supply board itself. This is more what I need. This is a nice little distribution block. There's a source of some nice parts, some nice screw terminals and stuff. But I'm mainly interested in this power supply board because I kind of want to turn this into kind of a budget, decently high current variable power supply. And I've looked up all the major components on this board. There's a decent bridge rectifier underneath there. It's rated at I think about 20 amps actually. They did a lot of overkill on this, which is fantastic. Everything is rated at least 50 volts. This a rectifier transistor underneath there that's rated at 200 volts. But the main switching regulator is rated at 50 volts, as is the rectifier, and all of the caps are all rated at 50 volts. This takes a 24 volt input, 24 volts AC input, and what I'd like to do is raise that to about 35 volts or so I can get, about 30, maybe a little bit more volts out of it at a couple of amps. And there's a built-in potentiometer down there that it ranges maybe about plus or minus 5 volts from 12. So it goes up to maybe almost 20 volts and down to about 7 or 8 volts as it's configured now. But I'm pretty sure I can play with the resistor values in that potentiometer, and also the some of the other resistors connected to that regulator, and get it so I can vary it. The specs on that regulator are between 5 and 40 volts DC, so I should be able to get it decently variable. I briefly entertained the idea of putting these two transformers, because there's two transformers in parallel. You can see both of them are hooked up here on the AC input. They're both in parallel right now, but I briefly entertained the idea of wiring these up in series so I could get 48 volts output. But that's very close to the rated maximum on a lot of these components. So that's too close to the maybe 1 or 5% rating variance on a lot of these components. So and another thing is these are rated at 100 volt amperes. So that's maybe about 4 amps or so per transformer. Right now, with them in parallel, they can handle about 8 amps, so 200 volt amps at 24 volts DC, 24 volts AC, excuse me. But if I were to put them in series, they would then be at 48 volts, 100 volt amps, which is just about 4 amps. So that's pretty close to the limits that I would want to drive this thing to, because I'm definitely going to put this thing through its paces. So I don't want to do that. I've got a few other transformers that I might be able to maybe rewind, or I may actually have some 30 some odd volt transformers out in the garage that I need to go through. But might be able to find some type of transformer solution for this, so I can get 35 volts or so into that power supply. What I'll probably end up doing is just leaving everything in this box. I can put it up on the shelf, maybe underneath the Tech 465B there, might fit. Just underneath that, may make this up as the front panel. I can probably reroute this power cord maybe along the side and out the back, out of this this knockout here that's removed. I can probably work up some kind of little fitting that I can put that cord through. And then this I can probably put in a nice 2 amp fuse or something, since this nominally draws 1.5 amps. I could put in maybe a 2 amp fuse in there. And then I've got this little control panel, or actually it's a voltmeter and amp meter that I got from I got out of a battery backup control panel. I actually did a short video on that in the past. Really nice control panel, but it had this this meter board in there, and I'll need to kind of I looked up I searched and searched for specs on this. I didn't come up with anything. It's obviously a one-off. Well, maybe not a one-off, but definitely low production from a smaller company. You can see the I think it was flow soldered. Looks like it was flow soldered, but you can see the coating is coming up from a lot of the traces, and there's some corrosion or goopy stuff or something on there. So it's definitely a low production run. They didn't invest in a lot of special equipment or anything to produce this. It's not mass produced, so I couldn't find anything on it. It's definitely a custom piece of equipment for that particular control panel. So, but it's a pretty simple circuit, and I think I can probably work out what's going on here and give it a test, see if I can use it for this. It's possible. And I got this as the voltage selector knob. I'm going to use this this nice Vishay brand potentiometer I got. It's rated at 10K, and it's a 10-turn potentiometer. So I can have really fine control over the output voltage. So I'll probably mount that around here somewhere. So start of what I hope should be a fun project. Give me some useful equipment as I continue to build up this this lab here. So yeah, look forward to hopefully some future videos on the progress. Thanks.